Poland that night.
Well,
I don't see Donald Trump doing that though. I don't.
yeah, he's made it
Well,
clear he's
you
not there.
uh, you see, here's the problem, right? So NATO uh does contribute to some things for us, right? And
Mm,
I do agree that we should be working on our country. I also think that he respects alliances, right?
I don't think so.
Uh,
Yeah, that's antithetical to what he's been doing.
Yeah.
well, see, Mexico closing their borders, like, okay, and like, in my opinion, right? Because they've been, jumping over ours the entire time. Uh,
I just think he's making the wrong alliances. Personally,
Yeah,
he,
absolutely.
he he's making alliances with countries that can't help us at the end of the day
And don't want to.
and don't want to.
Putin is playing them.
Yeah, Putin is playing that man like a puppet. He
Yeah.
is.
also, um, I haven't done a lot of research into this whole thing. But what I do know is that if Putin steps into a freaking NATO country, it's over for him, and we will 100% step in.
Well,
But my
I hope
thing
you're
is,
right. I
we
just
got to
don't.
do the work to avoid that. So, I mean, because we all know if he
How the
steps on
fuck do you
a
spell
NATO
politics?
country,
How do you spell it?
Politics,
Polo ticks?
No.
politics.
That's what I
I-
thought. It just doesn't look right.
No, that's right. Sure. No, but my thing is, we got to avoid that. I mean,
I'm
because
literally
we
serious
know
fucked up.
if we step into Poland, we know it's
Politics.
World War III, and United States really, literally has. I mean, it would be almost treasonous for him not to step into support Poland because that would leave us less safe if they take Poland. Um, so, I mean, yes, we all know that we'll have to step in if they try to attack Poland or step on Poland in some way. We know that. But my thing is, why allow it to get to that point? Because that's guaranteed World War III at that
Well,
point.
Yeah, when he's sitting here trying to get Zelensky to basically surrender, why not talk to Putin and get Putin to just pull out?
I mean, in all honesty, America, United States has the cards when we're all unified with our alliances.
Right.
Of course, we have our tropes about the EU not supporting, even though they've done more financial support than the United States,
we
almost double what we've done, if not double what we've
that
done
is
with
not right.
support. No, that's right. I mean, they've done
No, we
350.
make up as a country a third of the money that gets put in freaking NATO.
Yeah, but we're talking about Ukrainian support, not NATO.
Oh,
Uh,
I thought we were still talking
uh,
about freaking the NATO.
well, we are, but we're talking about the European countries that are a part of NATO that are supporting Ukraine. They've done more in financial support than the United States. Not saying we need to up things necessarily, but this whole thing that they're not doing their part is ridiculous. Like they are. They've even committed, I think, what $100 billion more in support just this
U.S.
last week.
soldiers arrested in scheme to send classified data to China. What the fuck?
Yeah, and
Possible.
we're focused on DEI. So
Right.
that's the big enemy of the United States military is
Well,
diversity, equity,
we
and
also deal with
inclusion,
things. We also deal with
not
things
espionage.
internally in the first place. So, like a
Yeah,
lot.
but I'm just saying, like these things take a little more. Espionage is a little more important than quotas for diversity, in my opinion. That's just my little opinion. I don't know.
Well, like there are no taxpayer dollars going towards kicking people that are, the DEI hires. I guess in a way, like they're not. They're actually saving more tax money because they're not paying them.
Well, what do you mean?
Well, uh, Davenport and I had a conversation about freaking. That's where the taxpayer dollars are going towards, and
Well,
like,
I will say this: the tax dollars for DEI programs is is not even a drop in the bucket for the United
Okay,
States
that's what you're
budget.
talking about. Okay, for programs. Okay, I get you.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I think in some organizations in the United States government, I think it's literally like $400 million in total. I don't know that number for sure, but I know the cost of DEI programs because they've gotten rid of just about every one of them. And we still see that it hasn't done anything for the deficit in the budget that we face. So, I
What
mean,
the
I get
fuck?
it, but it's not really an answer to the deficit problem, to the spending problem that everybody's
Bro,
talking
these
about.
people are going away for
Yeah.
life.
You talking
Oh,
about
I'm
those
sure they are.
soldiers?
I'm
Yeah,
sure they are.
they're going away for life. There's no way. Miss Zhao offered missile-related data for sale, setting a starting price of 3,000 to 4,000 for anything that touches HIMARS.
Should be treason, but it'll probably be espionage.
That's treason.
3,000.
That's
That's
like,
all?
that's it? Like, really?
Bro, you're
Really?
crazy.
It'll
Bro,
be
like,
espionage because they only got so far as conspiring and working towards it. I don't think they actually shared information.
maybe
So
not, but
if they
But
shared it, it would be treason for sure.
even just the thought about it, you're only getting $3,000, bro. You're
bro,
fucking crazy.
bro, I better be getting set for the rest of my fucking life.
Right.
Like,
Exactly. I'm
like
talking about millions.
the moment I get out of prison, I should have a fucking like I should have something to like work for. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, damn, I'm gonna do these 45 years, and after I get out, man, I'm gonna buy me a mansion, a fucking Lamborghini, a fucking 20-foot pool. So, like, I better be set for the rest of my life. And to be honest, high Mars aren't really the issue here. I don't know if you guys know what a HIMAR is.
Nope.
It's the trucks that shoot the big ass missiles. Here.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
The big rigs
Uh
that has the launcher on the back of them.
no, the whole thing is a launcher.
So the whole truck is a launcher. Yeah, I mean, but the thing raises up and shoots missiles, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Like if you look at the stream, this is a HIMAR.
Whatever.
Like good fucking luck. Like
Good fucking luck, what, bro?
But I see more of that happening
what the fuck?
under this regime.
Bro, I'm here to climb, nigga.
Oh, listen.
Let's go.
Uh
Yeah?
I'm in the middle
Okay.
of my podcast.
Yeah.
Kinda
Oh,
ish.
sucks. Okay.
Peace out, Megatron.
Alright. Later, bro.
Yeah, I'm streaming right now. I'm sorry.
Element Optimus Prime is looking for him.
Yeah. Someone came into my fucking Discord or my league chat.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
looking at the cost of. Oh, I'm sorry. Go on. I don't want to interrupt that topic before I even go back to what we were talking
But
about.
3 grand is like, oh,
That's
say
crazy.
served as a battery supply sergeant responsible for overseeing for more than 55 million U.S. military properties. He also allegedly offered to send his Chinese contact an encrypted U.S. Military computer, asking for 1,800 in exchange. Bro, these guys are asking for so little, so little. Like, if you're gonna be a criminal, bro, like if you're gonna do some shady shit, you better do that shady shit at a fucking high price.
Well, maybe they thought that they do quantity versus trying to get a big dollar amount up front because then that would raise some red flags. If they do multiple sales,
Well, if this is a this so it's a this is a sergeant, right? Sergeant Zhang Jiao was stationed in blah blah blah. He's a sergeant, right? So when we go through comsec training, this isn't anything fucking spooky secret. All right, by the way, uh, we have drives that are labeled like per AFI. They have to be labeled secret or top secret, right?
Mhm.
And like we go through that kind of training to go, hey, we're gonna do a daily inventory of this every single day. a daily inventory has to happen. If the counts are bad, we gotta talk to people. And it's like our end of day checklist for like comsec shit. Like, you don't think that somebody's gonna recognize that 32 fucking hard drives are missing?
Yeah, that's pretty noticeable.
Yeah.
Like, oh, my bad. Zhao mailed the broker in China. He did around 20 hard drives containing what he claimed was government information. So that's only 20,000 or 40,000. Bro, like that's not even that good.
No, that's not.
Like
Yeah, that's a
he
shit deal.
it's very shit seeing that you're going to jail for life now, buddy. Good luck. Like
Unless his plan wants to take that and flee the country.
like you better leave. Like you better fucking like run away. Like please. Like if you're not in jail at this moment, homie, you better like ship off to China, where they're gonna kidnap you and torture you.
Yeah, I'm sure he's in jail now.
What terrible criminals! All that guy did, like, if there was actually information on that, all he did was kill his fellow homies. That's it.
They weren't his homies. He don't care about them, obviously.
Obviously, because dude, you're gonna have to fucking, like, do some crazy shit to me for me to tell people anything. Like, if we're gonna be completely honest, yeah, you're gonna have to like torture me for like months.
Everybody has their breaking point.
I was gonna say I don't know. Well, for me, I know it won't take months of torture. I'll be honest, which
Yeah.
is why I don't know shit. So
Yeah,
Don't put me in that position because the minute you start talking about pain and flip, all right, bro, what you want to know?
yeah,
Just give me some money
I'll
and put me
probably
up somewhere. I'll
I'll
be
take
good.
maybe about 2 or 3 punches to the face, and I'll give you what you need.
for real.
Which is why I don't know shit. Once again, that's why I'm not in one of those positions where I know anything because
All
I
right,
can't
just
take
just
it.
just put me up somewhere where they're not gonna come get me. They won't find me and give me a couple of dollars. We all right, because yeah, I ain't got time for that pain shit.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Nah, bro.
Eventually, the United States will forgive me.
No, they won't.
And if not, okay, I'll just make a new life somewhere else. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I mean, there's
Not
plenty of beautiful countries that don't have extradition treaties. You know,
right.
plenty of those.
Nah, bro. It's gonna have to take months. Well, cause like I also got boys that like are going to die because of information that
But you
like
got to think about this. You have to think about this. For them to do that, they don't have boys. They don't see it like that. They went past that point. So where you have a moral compass, they don't anymore. They don't. They can care less who dies.
yeah.
True.
I just don't like if they didn't even think about getting like a couple 100K off of 20 hard drives, like mm,
And really, not to quote our dear leader, but they had the cards in that kind of situation. Like they had the cards to negotiate. Like you want information that I can get you,
Mhm.
so I'm not gonna take this measly old offer you're giving me. I want to up the price. And you have the right to do so. I mean, you're one risking your
Right.
life, and they want the information you got to give. So fuck it.
yeah, so why would you go for such a low That's weird. That's weird. It's just
Yeah, you
weird.
want that kind of access of information? I need 1 million a drive
At least.
At
at least
least.
because I need to. Once I mean, and I need extrication. I need out of here when it's
Yeah,
done.
you're not no no not you're not getting those till I get out of here. You got to get me
Right?
out of here.
Like
Yeah,
send me to like fucking like God, where Thailand or some shit. Like
yeah,
Some small village in Nigeria will be fine for me.
yeah. I'm all right with that.
dude, fuck that, it's hot.
Hey, it's
Actually,
okay.
it's not as hot as most people think.
I'll get air conditioning.
Yeah, I mean, you
Oh,
can
yeah,
afford
you're a millionaire. I forgot. My fault. My fault, G. Yeah, bro. Like that's so like hey, I'll get these fucking hard drives out of the way. Fucking, uh, I'll ship them off with fucking with myself, and then I'll ship them from my location. That's all you gotta do.
Yep, because you're not gonna know where I'm at either. So that way you can't come find me. You can't tell when they catch your ass and you get caught up.
And
Nope.
there's gonna be zero questions whenever they come looking for me. The military, like, there's zero. They're never going to find me. You know what I mean? Like, these guys are so stupid. We do just let anybody in the military. It's insane.
Yeah, I'd actually build a bunker at that point underground because I don't know, something about the Defense Intelligence Agency that kind of scares me.
The what?
Defense Intelligence Agency.
The feds?
Yeah.
Defense.
Defense. I mean, yeah, but still, if you keep maintain a low profile and change your name, change your appearance, should be all right.
Yeah, true. Get a little security detail. You know, cover your ass in case. I don't know. That
And
might be a little conspicuous though.
yeah,
I don't know.
security, but you just have to make a whole bunch of new friends because you can't contact anybody that you knew.
Yeah.
So anybody that you want to keep in touch with, they got to come with you,
Hmm.
and they can't tell nobody where they're going.
But, like, hey, by the way, you're gonna be set for a long fucking time, I promise.
But yeah, whatever you knew before, don't know anything now.
Facts. And then if mom fucking comes up and is like, where'd you get all this money? Don't ask. Don't ask. Don't ask any questions. But
Don't
my mom
ask,
would be
don't tell.
like, no, you're gonna fucking tell me or I'm beating your ass. My mom wouldn't take that for an answer.
Nah, moms will have an account that gives her so much every month, like a pension, so it's no big deal. She ain't gonna say nothing. She'll be at the casino. She'll be happy.
Set her up with Bitcoin. It's untraceable.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, facts.
Give her a Bitcoin account. She can transfer it into cash. Should be set.
Yeah, fucking, that's crazy. I didn't know that. Fucking nuts.
Not us actually conspiring though. We're actually sitting here conspiring about this,
Neither has the means though, so we're good.
which is good. Yeah, that's good. Like I
Yeah.
said, this is why I don't know shit because I would not be a good friend for that.
Well, like, we're just saying that, like, these guys could have been a lot smarter about this. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna sell your country out, you might as well make it worth your while,
Right.
because chances of you getting caught is very high.
especially with fucking hard drives. Like, what are you
Yeah.
doing?
Why would you remove them? Why not duplicate them? But maybe that's too much like
Well,
right. I don't know.
that's
Well,
what
that
these
might be a little
criminals are dumb.
complicated.
Like, this guy's been through college. So, in order to be an officer, you have to go through college. Like, what the I'm just mind blown.
Well, duplicating the server hard drives is a lot more complicated than just pulling them out and taking
Did we
them.
just make a new helicopter? No, we didn't. I was like, there's no way we just had, like, created a whole new helicopter. It's like extremely fucking huge.
So I believe one of Trump's goals is to make a 51st state.
Yeah, he's really working on Canada, and they're not going.
Yeah, Canada ain't going nowhere.
No.
He's, he's better off messing with Puerto Rico.
Yeah, well, and they want it. That's the
Right.
thing. Like,
Right.
you want a 51st state. What about DC? They've got a bigger population than some of our smallest states. I mean, give them that. Well, I know why he won't give DC that, of course. Electorally, it's a terrible idea for them.
Yeah.
But, I mean, and Puerto Rico may not be in their favor either. I don't know. Puerto Rico might be a little more conservative than I know of it. But, yeah.
He's got options to do it.
Yeah, I mean, one of our numerous territories,
Right.
they would love to become a 51st state.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he can fuck
Oh
around with Canada all he wants,
shit.
but they will
Yeah,
go to
he
war
can fuck around
against
with
their
Canada all he
besties
wants, but
if
they
they have
will
to.
go to war. I I think what's happening, like all this shit, is just a distraction.
Absolutely, absolutely. But
Give
it's
if you
dangerous distraction.
I to be honest, like I feel like other things are happening. So like so many weird things are fucking like being put into action right now. And I feel like they're trying to avert our attention to, oh my god, Trump did this, Trump did this, Trump did this, to like stop us from seeing other things. To create,
That's possible.
I
uh,
agree, but I think it goes back to the same strategy Steve Bannon was talking about in the flood the zone strategy. I think that's what's happening. So, I mean, media doesn't really know how to handle that situation. They try and play whack a mole with every topic that comes out, which is just, it's not really a smart way to handle it, but that's the way they're dealing with it. So we end up with a situation like this where we're talking about things like Zelensky not wearing a suit in the Oval Office. You know,
That was fucking crazy.
yeah, I mean that. While I think it was ridiculous that Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend thought it was okay to bring that up, um, it's also a distraction to make that a story because that's not a story. Like there's much more pressing things, like the fact that he cut off intelligence sharing with Ukraine and that he stopped all military aid to Ukraine. I think those are a little more important than the fact that he's not wearing a suit. We
Right.
all know why he's not wearing a suit, so no one cares.
why is he not wearing a suit?
He's actually wearing a uniform that is similar to his military on the front line, uniform that they wear. So it is to signify a country at war. That's their way of signifying they're at war. So technically, it's not casual as many people think. It's more of a symbol that he's using and wearing that as. So, but at the end of the day, I mean, if it's him wearing cargo pants and a utility shirt, okay, his country's at war, literally at war with a superpower. So it is what it is. I'm just glad he showed up. That's all I care
Right.
about.
And then Vance talking about, well, he didn't even say thank you. The fuck?
Yeah, that was a small
Okay.
ego trip they had, I guess.
Okay. Vance, we're not gonna talk about how you didn't like Trump 4 years ago, 8 years ago, and
Yeah,
now you saw an opportunity, so you took advantage of it.
yeah, literally that. Called him Hitler.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah,
Yeah, no, it's freaking. I just feel like things. I think it's a distraction. I think everything's a distraction right now to have us avoid the things that are happening. But I don't know what's happening, so we'll find out later in like what. We'll find out in 20 years when it's declassified.
I
Huh?
mean, we're finding out the things that are. I mean, the people getting fired. I mean, that's still happening. Like those things are still happening. The foreign aid is still frozen, even though the courts have ordered him to continue with that. I mean, all those things are still happening. I mean, and some of those stories are still being reported, but it's just a lot of shit going on. like,
Yes,
like a
you can't
lot of
really.
shit. A lot of people aren't realizing. Like, he just pledged to cut 70,000 jobs from Veterans Affairs, and I mean, that's something they should be talking about. A lot of people are
Well,
not paying attention to
they're definitely talking about it in his town halls to the point where Johnson has
that.
ordered GOP members not to attend any more town halls.
Yeah, yeah,
And so my thing is this: is that If your constituents are pissed off at you and telling you that they're pissed off, instead of trying to shut them down, you should be doing something about their concerns. And in my opinion, at least that's what I thought that you were there for. You were there for them, so they're all telling you they're pissed off at what the fuck's going on. But you're not doing anything to fix it. You're just trying to shut them down and say, "Oh, how, he's doing this right, and this right," and they're all telling you, "No, no, no." That's the part that just baffles me in my brain right now.
Well, to me, I get why they're not. Like, it's because they're stuck between a rock and a hard place, and they don't have to be. I mean, they just have to have courage and integrity.
Right.
But they're stuck between a rock and a hard place where if they speak out against Donald Trump or Elon Musk, they'll just primary them. So they don't want to lose that kind of um, power. If they're going to go out and speak out against Donald Trump, I mean, look at everyone who has on the Republican side: Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger. Those folks spoke out against Donald Trump, and they are no longer in politics because they had an unwinnable race. I mean, so they chose not to run again, of course, but they had an unwinnable race as soon as they spoke out against him. And I mean, Elon Musk is definitely putting his thumb on the scale of politics. He's in Wisconsin, uh, dealing with the Supreme Court race, funding opponents for the Supreme Court race there. So, I mean, he's definitely going to fund a primary against them if they speak out against them. So they're beholden to that, which is what happens when you have an oligarchy. So they don't give a shit about the voters that voted for him. They just care about having enough money to run in the next race.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really know much about the topic. I'd have to inform myself about what's going on. Because, like, me being a Trump supporter, I feel like things are weird right now. I feel like this doesn't seem okay, right? So, um, there's a lot of things happening all at once. And to be honest, it's what, 50 fucking, what's it called? Executive orders?
So, what doesn't seem right for you as a Trump supporter? That's what I want. I want to get into the
Stole the
mind of
question
a
right
Trump
out of
supporter.
my mouth.
Oh, what doesn't seem right? Please tell me.
Uh, one sec. Let me go grab a drink real quick and I'll continue. Well, no, I've been
Yeah.
like parched as fuck for like an hour, and I was just too lazy to go downstairs. It just happened to be that time. But one sec.
Okay, I got you.
Did you see he is issuing an executive order that I don't know if he has the ability to do that or not. So I gotta look into this. But an executive order um that would make murder of or assault, I think, or murder of a police officer the death penalty.
No, I didn't see that one.
I agree.
No, I think that normally in most states it is that. I
Not in
guess most states
California.
that. Oh, really?
Well. Here's what I will say. It's up to the local DAs in California. DAs can decide if
Oh,
they want to make it a capital
yeah,
offense or not.
On
yeah,
top of that, that's if they make it out alive in the first place.
Well, yeah, there's that.
yeah.
It takes mad guts to not shoot that dude in the face.
Well, some people do it.
Um, I'll go back to what I was saying earlier. I don't know. It all feels so drastic, right? So on the first in his first term, Like he was like, okay, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, and he did this, and this, right? Now,
Mm-hmm.
now he's just focusing on like weird shit for no reason.
Culture wars. Yeah.
And
Well, yeah, even beyond culture wars, but yeah, I hear you.
so like that's why it's weird. He's focusing on these little weird things, right? And he's still trying. He's like still doing things that are good, like like giving people like shit. I haven't really been like a part of politics for a while. Like there's been so much going on that like I haven't been able to catch up.
So the one good thing I can say he did is the Make a Wish Foundation that made that 13-year-old boy a Secret Service agent.
Yeah, that was
But,
beautiful.
but then he turned around and used him as a political pawn.
Hmm. Yeah, that felt uncomfortable to watch. That whole thing felt
Right.
uncomfortable. I
Right.
was happy that the kid was given because he deserved it. That's what he
Right.
wanted, and he deserved that. But it just felt beyond that. That moment went on way too long, and it was
Hmm.
just uncomfortable to watch.
I didn't watch the whole thing, but I heard about that. That's what I was going to mention. Um,
Yeah.
So that was a good thing. Other than that, I mean, I'm
but
sure he's done some good things. I just think that,
I don't think that like so many things are happening right now at this point, right? Nobody's talking about the good things that are happening. Uh, like they're just like, oh my god, he did this, right? It's a oh my god, DEI, like blah blah blah. Now, I'll go back to that FAA thing, right? Like to be honest, like hiring someone based off of a demographic doesn't make like that doesn't sound okay, right?
but is it just based off the demographic only?
Yeah.
Well, like there's not really a way to prove that.
But
Right.
I don't think it is just solely based on a demographic. I think you still have to have some knowledge, skill, and ability.
Let me
Correct.
You
say
know what I'm saying?
this.
But
Let me say this. Both my mom, let's just put it this way. She is a flight attendant, and DEI exists in the airline that she works at. They had DEI programs all the entire time. However, most people would look at her and call her a DEI hire. Why? We all know why, but they would call her that. And at the end of the day, she's a woman, she's black, so I mean, obviously they would assume DEI hire. However, she went through the same training process. It's 6 weeks. It's very intensive. They learn everything from physical combat all the way to medical care, and it's
okay.
the and how to ditch a plane when it crashes. It's all the same kind of thing across the board. They go through the same process and they have to adhere to the same standards. Yet DEI did exist in the process, but everybody, it's still a multicultural class of people. They don't have an issue with the folks that are graduating. Everyone is qualified. So to say DEI is merely just focusing on a certain group of people to hire them just to say you got them, that's not true. I mean, they all have to adhere to the same standards. So,
I'll give an example. So, I continue to go back to the military, right? Um, because the military is a very prominent thing in my life, right? So, I actually lost a promotion due to a DEI program, right? And they were Hispanic, which like I don't have a problem with any race or any people or like any demographic, right? Um, but the thing is that just because that like they set up a program that like I can't, I'm not supposed to set up, right? Like I guess I could have, but uh, like it was a strict like event program for like Hispanic cultures.
So they set up a study group.
No,
For lack
no,
of a better term.
it was more like a festival, right? Like it was like a base wide thing.
Okay.
Um, like, uh, fuck, dude, my brain's not working today. Uh, it's at 0 FPS in my brain right now.
It was like a cultural exposition or something like that.
Yeah, that's basically what it was, right? And they only wanted Hispanic individuals to do it, like
To attend or to
to set it up and be a
coordinate it.
part of
Oh,
it,
okay.
and yeah. So there's none of those kinds of programs for white people. We don't have any holidays. We don't have any things. You know what I mean?
I
Like
got President's Day.
president.
Yeah.
There was a black president.
One out of 47.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like 100 years ago, you guys weren't seen as people, unfortunately.
This is true.
Right.
Yes. This is true.
So
But that also, and I'm so glad you brought that up, but not to trap you in what you just said. But that's why DEI is so important because only just over 100 years ago, we weren't even considered humans. We weren't even counted as a full human being. We were what?
Dog had more rights than
Three-fourths?
we had.
Yeah. So I mean that's why DEI is important. We're not saying that and just as a quick rundown, DEI is not saying white people aren't deserving of the roles that they have. Now, what it is saying is that there are other people to consider when we're looking at leadership, when we're looking at any kind of opportunities that exist. There are other people that exist because historically the systems and the institutions we have don't operate that way naturally because that's just the way shit is set up. I don't know why. I can't really get into that. I don't know, but I do know from experience as a black person in this world that the systems don't operate that way naturally. So it's about being more intentional and saying, let's go places where people may not know about these opportunities and show them these opportunities. For instance, I think there was like a young black engineers event that the DoD didn't want. They pulled out of. It was a huge young black engineers event that they had, where they would go and recruit folks for the military at that event, and they pulled out of it because it was DEI. And it's like, okay, but that's where you get really, really good qualified black folks that are engineers and that qualify for certain positions within the military. It's not saying that we don't want white people. It's just saying we also want to make it a point of going to places where other people
bro,
exist
I
because we
fucking
oftentimes
hate
don't focus
Timu.
on it. So,
I fucking hate Timu. It's such a virus.
Oh, yeah.
I'm surprised Timu wasn't banned yet. Isn't that owned by someone from China?
Yeah.
I'm surprised that's not banned yet.
I'm trying to figure out what he said about why he banned DEI. Everybody focuses on what he does and not what he's stating. So,
And just a little added tidbit on the white holidays thing. The reason they don't have specific white holidays, I mean they do. But the reason that they don't have like a white heritage month is because that's not something that needs to be brought to the forefront. White heritage is society's heritage. I mean, that's just the natural default. When we look at history in this country, it's naturally from a white perspective. We talk about Christopher Columbus, we talk about Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Jefferson and all these, there's many more, but all of these prominent white people of history, but oftentimes get left out about folks like the black leaders. I can only speak from black folks' perspective, like Fannie Lou Hamer. I'm blanking on a bunch of other names, but Fannie Lou Hamer, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, a bunch of greats from back then. that don't get talked about. Even in our history books, we don't even talk about them. So when it comes to having these moments like Hispanic Heritage Month, Asian American, whatever, I didn't mean whatever, but I can't think of the rest of the name. Asian American Heritage Month.
API.
Yes. That's because oftentimes that's not the common thread when we're in this country. Even though it is American history, it's not commonly discussed or note or acknowledged. And so we have to bring it up. Now that's a whole nother rabbit hole as to why. We'll leave it at that.
No, I I understand. I'm just confused. Um, I think there's a deeper meaning for all of this shit that nobody's talking about.
A deeper meaning for what?
I don't like everything. Like, there's been what 30 executive orders?
Oh, there's been far more than that.
Was it 70?
Far more. He's had over 200 since he took office.
There's
I
no.
think on the
I don't.
first day he signed about 70 on his first day in
There's
office.
14 fucking pages. Announces cabinet. Was restoring public services loans forgiveness. Establish public service loan forgiveness program to encourage Americans to enter public service sector by promising to forgive their remaining student loans after they complete 10 years of service in those jobs while making 10 years of minimum payments. Good thing.
Yeah, it's on a federal level though. You got to get a federal job, which pays nothing.
Uh, Public service sector. It's not technically federal. It could be a state job too.
I don't think so. 'Cause I don't think that executive order extends to state issues.
Wait,
You know
what
what
is
I'm
the
saying?
executive order?
Restoring the public service loan forgiveness. Yeah.
Oh, that's if you work for I think the government, yeah, because they also have another one where if you work for nonprofits, you get student loan forgiveness, but I think that stays. Um, Public service loan forgiveness, yeah, that's
Establishing
if
a
you work
White
for the
House
government.
task force on the
And he signed 83
FIFA World
executive.
Cup 2026. Establishment of the
Jesus.
Strategic Bitcoin Reserve and United States Digital Asset Stockpile, which is also good. You know, get with the times, I guess. Amendment to
Is
duty.
it good or is it self-serving?
What do you mean?
I think it's self-serving, but
Yeah.
I mean, not to mention Donald Trump has his own Bitcoin, and his family has their own Bitcoin, and they're making good money off of it.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't think that's
with another government official that he appointed to his
Right.
executive office that
To
is
the
making
new chief of
millions, if not
staff.
billions. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's the guy who got that teacher back from Russia. His son is partnered with Donald Trump Jr., and they're on a venture on some sort of Bitcoin venture. So they're making millions, if not billions of dollars off of that.
amendment to
Probably
duties to
millions.
address the flow of illicit drugs across our southern border. Okay, I'm gonna speak on Mexico a little bit, right? We've been asking Mexico to deal with their shit in their own fucking country for years. Years. Not even like recently. Like, we've been like, hey, you know, your guys are coming over smuggling shit over our border. Can you please help control this? And they're like, no. And we're like, hey, like, you know, this is your guys. Like, these are your people. So why are they over here smuggling drugs across our border? Like, they need to be dealt with. And they're like, not my problem. They're going into your country. And now they have a problem with the shit that we're doing. They can go fuck themselves.
Well, they have a problem with the shit that we're doing because they're sending back we're sending anyone of Hispanic descent to Mexico and expecting Mexico to deal with them. They may not be
No,
Mexican nationals.
that's not what's happening. If they don't have fucking papers, we send them back. It's not Mexican descent. It's where they came from. They didn't just fly into our country.
But
Right, right.
my
I
thing is,
get that.
if they
But
don't
if
have
they're not
documentation, how do we know where they came from?
right,
So then we send them back to Mexico so they could fly out of Mexico.
But
but
that's
that's
not
but
Mexico's
again, that's
problem.
not Mexico's problem.
They've been
Just
fucking.
just because they crossed in from Mexico, they're not a Mexican national, so it's not Mexican's issue to deal with. I get what you're saying because they crossed in from Mexico. Mexico should deal with it. Mexico should have dealt with it before. If we didn't have such a free open border down there, then yeah, then maybe something would have been done about it. But since we have a free open border down there, anybody can cross. Now, yeah, do they flock to Mexico to cross into the United States? Yes, they do. But if you're not a Mexican national, Mexico has no authority over you and no control. So that's what she's saying. We'll take our citizens, but don't send us all these other people that belong elsewhere because they're not our issue to deal with.
No, they should have just been controlling their own shit. I don't know. That's my opinion.
We'll say though, the Mexican government, and I'm not taking up for them at all because I know they could stand to do better, but they have been doing something. It's not like they have just been saying, "Oh, well, they're just crossing at our border. It is what it is." Like they have been on their southern border, trying to stem the like the Venezuelans crossing over their southern border, the folks that are make those caravans over their southern border from South America. I believe that's South or Central, one of those parts of the Americas. But they're making that trek over. They're trying to stem that issue as well. So I mean, they haven't been doing a good enough job, and I won't slight on that. I mean, it is what it is. They haven't. But to say they've been doing nothing is not 100% true. Um, I just think they can do more on the cartel issue primarily. But I think America has to drill down on better immigration policy. Like it's been 40 years since we actually came out with some real legislation about the border. Everybody wants to talk about, oh, the border is just a shit show, which it is. But then let's put forward legislation that deals with this shit show rather than just pointing the finger and saying this person didn't do it. Because executive orders are great, but that's not law. And all it's going to be done is it's going to be overturned in the next administration, and we'll be right back where we were. So I mean, it's great that he's signing executive orders. The pen is great. His pen has been his sharpies have been very busy for the last few weeks. But I mean, you got to work with Congress to get something done, or else this is a band aid.
And his thing is he doesn't want to work with Congress.
Well, see, and that's the problem. We'll be finding ourselves in this problem until somebody fixes it. Now, that's one thing that the Biden administration did do. They put forward a piece of legislation that was bipartisan. It was worked on and co-sponsored by both sides of the aisle, and it was endorsed by the Border Patrol Agents Association. So they even agreed that was good. It wasn't the end all be all, but it was helpful. It sent more funding to immigration courts, so they had more uh, administrative judges to actually hear the cases, so folks didn't sit in the asylum process for 10 years. Like, it would speed up the process so folks didn't, for one, feel like they had to cross illegally. They can go through
Listen,
an
this is
official
actually low
process.
key kind of weird, right? So, what does this say?
What was that?
What does this say? Can you see my stream?
Oh, hold on.
Amendment to duties to address the flow of illicit drugs across our southern border, right? This is what the executive order says. Automotive production is a major source of United States employment and innovation and is integral to United States economy and national security. Automotive industry is currently structured often trades substantial volumes of automotive parts and components across our borders in the interest of supplying chains closer to North America. And automotive workers, it is appropriate to adjust the tariffs imposed on. This is about the tariffs on automotive
Dumbass
parts.
shit. Yeah.
This isn't even about the
Yeah.
fucking illegal drugs.
No, that was. I think that was his walk back of the tariffs on auto parts because the automakers were crying that it would be too expensive and it would mess up the auto industry, which we knew. I mean, we've been saying this. It's nothing new, but Donald Trump listens when he wants to listen. So
Yeah, but it's just weird that this is what it's address the flow of illicit drugs across our southern border, and the same thing goes for the north border. Further amendments to
Yeah.
addressing the synthetic opioid supply chain in People's Republic of China. Failure of the government of the People's Republic to act to blunt the sustained influx of synthetic opioids, including fentanyl, flowing from PRC to the United States, constitutes an unusual and extraordinary threat, which is a source in its substantial part outside the United States, the national security, foreign policy, and economy of the United States. To address that threat, I invoke the authority under section blah 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 to impose and valor tariffs on articles that are products of PRC, which is good. I think that we should.
How is enacting a tariff on their products going to stop the flow of synthetic opioids?
It's not. It's not. It literally is not. But
Hey,
yeah.
Well, I'm talking about trying to control it.
Well,
how is that going to control it?
I don't know if this is about tariffs. This one's not about tariffs.
what the amendment to duties to address the flow of illicit drugs across our southern border?
Oh,
Yeah, that one is about, but it's about um yeah, I'm looking at it. It's something to do with the authority he has within the different acts of Congress, the laws that have been created, and now he's adjusting tariffs um, in an effort to minimize the disruption of the U.S. auto industry and their workers. He wants to adjust the tariffs imposed in a previous executive order.
are you talking about
Um,
the southern border and the north border?
yeah, it was to adjust the tariffs for the for Mexico and Canada. That came out, I believe it was yesterday or the day before yesterday. Immediately after yeah, it was the day he actually introduced the tariffs, I believe. I don't know. So much shit has happened this
There's a
week.
bunch of them, but
Yeah. But actually, he walked back those tariffs the day before yesterday. So the 6th, yes. And, yeah, walked that back. It'll actually, and potash, which is another thing a lot of people don't focus on, is a very big product that's imported. It's really imported into the United States for agricultural purposes. A lot
you cut out.
of and farming in the country,
Yeah,
and
you
so he
cut out
had that
like heavy.
25% tariff. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I understand the like, to be honest, I don't really agree with all of the tariffs because, if we've been doing business with these guys for so long, like create a small tariff and then see how it goes. See if there's any pushback. Like him being a businessman, I feel like, like if you would have walked the tariffs in instead of walking them out, like tiptoeing into tariffs, not just like boom 60%, 40%, 70%. You know what I mean? That like it's rough, right? And
well, tariffs are just never good because whatever you're adding in tariffs is going to add to the cost of the goods. So
Right.
it just doesn't, it only hurts the people in your country. It does nothing to Canada. Like they're still going to import as so long as businesses are going to still buy, and we're going to see just prices rise. That's just what it's going to be.
See, his belief is that because the price is going to rise for us, we're not going to import it. That's not necessarily true.
Yeah, I mean, people still need like avocados from
Yeah.
Mexico. We still need that shit. Like I mean, we don't need it, but it's still going to be bought. I mean, the goods are still going to be bought. Lumber is still going to. We're building houses still, and you want a boom of building houses, but you're going to add a tariff on top of the materials used to build houses in this country. It makes no sense. And then on top of that, his argument is also it's I guess it's twofold why he's doing tariffs to slow the influx of illicit drugs, but then also it's going to force companies to want to start business in the United States, and that never has worked that way in using tariffs. That's never worked in their favor that way.
Hmm. Yeah, February 19th. Uh, ensuring accountability for all agencies. I actually don't really see a problem with that one though. There are some agencies that just like get off by like doing the bare minimum. Expanding access to vitro's fertilization. I don't know what vitro is.
Let me just mention that ensuring
What's up,
accountability
y'all?
for all agencies, that executive order is very problematic
Oh, this
because
is the IVF. This is
the
expanding access to in virtue. Oh, IVF, yeah.
the ensuring accountability for all agencies executive order is the one where he says um, that all authoritative interpretations of law of the for the executive branch shall be made by the president and the attorney general. So basically, the attorney general and the president are the only two that can interpret law and how they should follow the law, and no other agency officials
Vests all
can
executive
interpret the
power
law.
in the president and charges him with faithfully executing the law. Since
So
he'll be
is that
responsible.
order saying that the courts can't interpret law now?
Well, that's where
That's
it
their
gets
job.
hairy. That's where it gets a little confusing. Um, Let me read it. It gives the Office of Management and Budget oversight over independent agencies' spending, which is, I think, illegal because Congress has designated which agencies are independent, like SEC, FCC,
Hmm?
you know, FTC, those types of agencies, the Federal Reserve, those are all independent. And then additionally, it will give any authoritative interpretations of law that is only made by the president and attorney general and prohibits executive branch officials from taking a legal position contrary to those interpretations. So whatever the president or the attorney general specify as their position of the law, every agency has to adhere to that. They can't defy it. Even if it's illegal, they cannot defy it.
Hmm.
It's currently being litigated by the Democratic Party. They sued. And that also includes the Federal Elections Commission, which is why it's very problematic.
Okay.
I'm reading it right now. Hey, there's just a lot of shit going on, man. There's so much to keep up with. Like 16th, there was one. Like I'm only on page 4.
I just went to Wikipedia because they give me a quick synopsis and a list of all 83 that have been signed.
Yeah, dude, there's just so much stuff going on at all times, and it's hard to keep track of everything.
Sorry, there's 88. I miscounted.
What
88.
executive orders?
Yes, they have some that haven't been even numerated yet, so they haven't given them an actual executive order number yet. But they've been signed.
Cabinet wins. Trump administration unleashing golden age.
And mind you, I'm looking at Barack Obama's executive orders.
Hmm.
His first year in office, um, what he took office in what '09. His first year in office, he signed 39 executive orders. Second year in office, 74. I mean, his third year it was a little lengthy, 108. But Donald Trump is already nearing 108, and it's only been just over a month. So it's ridiculous.
If to be honest, I think that I actually kind of think that a lot of these are going to go away. I think they
Yeah,
were. To be honest,
yeah,
I really think that a lot of these were to create a distraction. And whatever distraction, like I'm not trying to like fucking go, oh yeah, like he's so great, like he's distracting us. Like no, I'm just saying like some of these are just so fucking weird, right? And they like they do seem problematic. Like I'm not going to be a dick writer, you know what I mean? Like they seem problematic, and like he's not stupid, you know what I mean?
yeah. But my only concern is that, and I don't know if I cut you off or maybe you cut out. I'm sorry.
No,
Not
I
sure.
coughed. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. But the only issue with that is that Donald Trump views that as policy making. That's how you make policy, is by writing executive orders. That's, I mean, Project 2025 is literally the playbook we're going off of here, and he's not far off from that playbook. So, and what Project 2025 said, that executive orders, he's just going to rule through executive orders. And that's what he plans to do from what we're seeing. He hasn't yet introduced a piece of legislation to Congress yet. And we're reshaping the entire government with executive orders. Um, I think that's, I mean, it's most of it is unlawful because you can't get rid of agencies without Congress. But I mean, that's what we're seeing. I don't think it's on his part that it's meant to be a distraction fully. I think it's the flood the zone method and it's working. But yeah.
I heard about this Dogecoin thing. The Dogecoin fucking stimulus thing. Like I guess they're trying to give back, you know?
Oh, that $5,000.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's a joke. That's a damn joke.
I don't know, man. They've made $55 trillion off of it.
Wait, so they're going to use the 55 trillion or however much they made, and give that to people for free?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I have never heard of that. I don't know if that's true. What I did hear is that Elon Musk is saying that he could use the little savings that he found to give back $5,000 checks to Americans, like a stimulus check or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's not going to happen, and that's laughable, and stupid.
Why is that
Um,
stupid?
well, I mean, because it then tells us that the issue is not, it has never been about spending, because you're cutting and cutting and cutting, and then you're going to spend trillions of dollars to give $5,000 checks, because it's going to be trillions, because what they gave to us for stimulus under COVID, that was, I think, $1 trillion package. Um, just to give 1,000 or $1,200 checks to every American adult, that was $1 trillion package. So 5,000 is going to be even more, and we're talking about trying to cut waste, fraud, and abuse. And we're going into a recession, so $5,000 isn't really going to be helpful to anybody in the long run when everything is going to be much more expensive. So I digress, though. But I mean, I'm just saying, like, I would love 5,000, but I would also like my government not to be broke,
Well,
because we both can't be broke.
listen, I saw this video and it was funny as shit. It was this guy that was he basically was like, we have a however many trillion dollars in debt. So here's what we should do. We should pick one person. Let's say it's Evan. And then just go, Evan, you're now $53 trillion in debt. And they're like, his life will be ruined, but the country will be great. I was like, oh no.
Oh man.
Like that would freaking like imagine being that one guy that freaking the government came through and was like, "Yeah, by the way, the entire United States debt is yours now." Okay. Be like,
That
"Wait,
is soul crushing debt.
no, that's like life-ending debt." Like I don't think I'm ever like I could live for 700 years and still never make the national debt, right?
What was that?
It's
I said I could live for 700 years, I think. Times 700. Yeah, I could live for 700 years and still not even touch the national debt.
Oh, hell no. I mean, it's what, 36 trillion? No, absolutely not. No. Hopefully, Elon Musk will make enough money where he can afford to cover the United States debt by the time he's a trillionaire. Something.
To be honest, what happens if people die? What happens to all their money if there's no one to fucking give it to?
Uh, it's a good question. I think it becomes state property, or it just sits in an account, honestly, until the bank closes it or something like that. And I don't know what they do with it.
There was like they've been like auditing like a bunch of freaking like programs and they found that like what was it like 10 something percent of people that were getting social security they were like 700 years old, 100 years
Yeah,
old.
I think it was like 160. It was what? Yeah, he came out with that bullshit in the damn speech he did. It's so what that is. They don't know how to read codes. So what that is, and this is why you need folks that work in the government to help you audit the government so that you understand what shit says. So what that is that there's like a universal data coding set up for these systems and databases. So quite a few American citizens, as you know, that probably, well, it's not probably, it's a fact. They don't know their birth date. There's quite a few Americans in this country that don't. They don't have birth certificate. They don't have any kind of information that has their birth date to confirm their date of birth. So a lot of folks don't know their birthday or year rather. And so what they do is they just put in when they don't have data for their birthday, it kind of zeroes out to this one specific year. And it's I don't know the year specifically, but it is like a universal data system, whatever, where that year is known as like the universal code out year. If you don't have data for that, it automatically defaults to that year. So that's why folks show up as like 170 years old because that's what it zeroed out to because there was no actual birthday. So it's just not them it's them not understanding how the system works to understand what's
I
going
can
on.
promise you that there are not people out there that don't know their birthday.
I can promise you there are. There are. There are people who, for one, I mean, when you're born, you're a baby. Not always will there be a record taken. Birth certificates are given to folks not right on the moment when the baby is born. You have to sometimes some jurisdictions you
Not
have
in
to
that
get them.
large of an amount though. Like you you, you gotta at least
Well, this
have
country has 330 million people, so the numbers we're seeing is not like an astronomical amount of people that don't have birth dates. That's a small amount compared to the national number, the broad spread number of people that are in this country. 330 million. So you're seeing, I don't know what the numbers are, but I can tell you they're not a huge number compared to that. But yeah, a lot of people are born in this country and don't have record of their birthday. Some older folks may not have record of their birthday.
yeah, but
Um,
you're not going to say that you're freaking 80 years older than you are.
No, but the system, when it codes out for no date, it has a default date. That's just how databases will work. So it'll code you out for that specific year. When you pull the numbers the way they did it, it will show you that, yeah, there are 159-year-olds in there because that's the year that's automatically defaulted when you don't have a birthday in there. So that's just how their coding system works at Social Security. It doesn't mean that they're actually lying. I mean, because it's really ridiculous to believe that there are 159-year-olds, 160-year-olds there's no one that is that old alive today.
Correct. Well,
So
like people are out there like hold on, I got to adjust my microphone. There you go. There are people out there right now getting paid like voting under people's names that shouldn't be voting or that are dead. They've been dead for like a long time. You don't think that
there's
they're
there's
say
no proof of that. There's no proof of that on
there
a
is
wide
though.
scale spread. There's
Not
no
why
proof of
like but
that.
like I'm saying like you still got to acknowledge that it does happen.
Oh, yeah, I mean it happens, but it's so small of a number that it is negligible. Not saying that it's not an important thing, but honestly, I can't even tell you how big of an issue that is because it's not. Like the data will prove that only I could pull this up right now that the number of people voting fraudulently in elections is not anything that will impact an election. And oftentimes, actually 100% of the time, it's caught. So, I mean, our voting systems, our voting process is set up in a way in many states where it is nearly impossible to fraud. And when you do have a fraud set up, there's ways and mechanisms in the system that catch it. I just don't see it happening on a widespread scale. Not to say it doesn't, because it definitely does. Any system will have someone attempt to fraud, but I just don't think it's happening on a a widespread scale.
Bro, there's like all these freaking big companies that are like hyper against Trump or like in here or dead people getting social security benefits.
Yeah, for instance, I found this from Brookings Institute, which is an educational research organization. In the highly contested state of Pennsylvania, this came out in October of last year. Heritage data, Heritage Foundation data goes back 30 years and covers 32 elections with over 100 million votes cast and found only 39 cases of voter fraud.
Well, okay. So age range 0 to 9, 38 like this is his graph. So like this is like
Are you talking about the
Elon Musk graph.
Social Security?
Yeah.
What's the website for that?
Twitter.
Oh, God. Yeah. His
Yeah.
data is not something I would ever depend on.
Yeah, but like I'm just like pulling up the information that was given. That's it. Like by him specifically like I don't know if these numbers actually are like we will never know if these numbers are true. We'll never know.
Well, I mean, we heard it from folks that worked at the Social Security Administration that said that's why those numbers show up that way because for one, they know the system. That's why I was saying you don't fire everybody that knows how to operate the system and then try and go in there and make sense of something that you don't know how it works. They were saying that's exactly why it's showing up that way because folks don't have birth dates on record. And so that's what it defaults as in the system. So it will show up that they were born 159, 160 years ago. We know they are not 160, but we
Yeah,
don't
but
have
like
record
the
of their actual birth date.
in order to apply for Social Security in the first place, you have to have that information. Like it is a require. Like my dad's on Social Security.
Right. Well,
And
I
he
mean,
has to have his birth certificate, his like everything. He had to go through the whole process. So, like, you have to have all of this information to even apply for Social Security.
well, let me look at this and see why it's that way. I can give you a better, clearer answer.
Because, like, people not knowing their birthdays doesn't make any sense because you need your birth certificate in order to apply.
I'm pulling this from
And on
Newsweek.
top of that, it's a fucking lengthy ass process. It takes months to get your Social Security check. like my dad's been.
That's it. I was incorrect, but I was. It's still relatively the same thing. The Security Administration issued a statement on the 5th, the day after, I believe, this stupidity was spouted in that speech. The data reported in the media represent people who do not have a date of death associated with their record. They're not
Hmm.
receiving benefits. While they're not receiving those benefits, it's important for the agency to maintain accurate and complete records.
Agree.
Hmm. I'm thinking.
Yeah, and his data doesn't make sense because they actually debunked his data right in and of itself because his numbers don't even add up to the right population count for the United States of America. His numbers add up to 341 million. Well, I'm sorry, his add up beyond the 341 million that was counted in the last census in 2020. So his data doesn't even add up. It goes far beyond that.
Right, because you have people from the age of 0 to uh 59.
I,
That's why.
I don't think that's why.
No, that's literally what this says. It says age range 0, 9, 10, 19, 20 to 29, 30 to 39, 40 to 49. And there's like probably 200 million people right here. Almost 300 million.
It was.
That's what his data says. It says from the ages of 0 to 59, and you can't claim Social Security until you're 65 years old.
Right.
Uh, so 0 to 59, and I'm not even going into this 60 to 69 bracket because it's irrelevant, right? From the ages of 0 to 59, there is roughly about, I'm just going to do like slight math. 38
So
plus
just to add
44.
context to that, the Social Security Administration even went further to say it is a death notification issue, and that's how they keep old records. Not everybody on that list is actually receiving benefits. So that list does not include everyone who's receiving benefits right now. Um,
273,000.
so right now, that a lot of the folks are just on that list for
Or
reference purposes when
273
they get
million.
past, because only United States has only about 100,000 people over the age of 100, which is actually quite interesting. Um, but they said the reported data are people in our records with a social security number who do not have a death of or date of death associated with their record. They don't always get a notification when someone dies. So that's what they're saying. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're still receiving benefits. It just means that these are the folks we have on record that haven't been um, uh, changed or notified of death, basically. We haven't been notified of their death. So they're on our records, but they're not necessarily all receiving benefits. So him making the claim that these are all the people that are receiving benefits is not true. So
I guess, maybe. But it still doesn't explain the fact of 0 to 59.
what do you mean 0 to 59?
Well, if they're in between the ages of 0 and 50, I guess, like, if that's everybody in the database of the United States, I guess that would make a little bit of sense. But
If they're between the ages of 0 to 59, why wouldn't they be on that list?
well, I'm just like why would they be on the list in the first place? Like I understand that they have social security cards and everything and documentation purposes, but
0 to 59, the Social Security Administration doesn't just pay to seniors. They also pay Social Security disability. So 0 to 59 could be folks that are receiving disability paychecks. Um,
True.
in
with, for example, my
273
dad,
roughly
my,
million.
well, my dad was disabled, and so as children, we received a portion of his disability check from the age of like 9 years old to 18. So children between the ages of 0 to 59, or and not all of them are children obviously, but people between the ages of 0 to 59 could be receiving disability checks.
In the
um,
millions though. That's what I'm saying. Like this is 200. I calculated between the ages of 0 to
or
59, and that's 273 million estimated.
but but you also have to account for the fact that some of those people are dead. Like 0 to 59 people have died in that category too. So that's what they're saying. A lot of those numbers are inflated because they don't always get a death notification for every person that dies in this country. So if they don't get a death notification, your name is still on the record. You're still associated with the records. Doesn't mean you're still getting benefits. Of course, you have to do stuff to maintain your benefits. So if you're dead, you're not getting benefits because you're not maintaining them. But those folks are most likely dead if it's an inflated number. So, well, there. Let me not say it in general sense because not everybody's dead, but there are people on that list that are not alive anymore. That just haven't been. The Social Security Administration just hasn't been notified of their death. I think that's terrible for record keeping, but there's not much they can do. I mean, they would have to spend a lot more money to hunt down people to determine if they're dead or alive. So that's just what it is for their record keeping. But also, people under the age of 59 are receiving administration paychecks.
Well, no, so I do understand that, but like based off of like, I'm not saying it's fucking set in stone, it's all correct and everything, right? But like from the ages of 0 to 59, it's still 273 million people. Like that's a shit ton. Like so it's either they don't know what they're looking at or we have an issue.
Yeah, and I'm also reading this article as well, and it's saying that experts in data management and government record keeping, they also pointed out that these numbers don't indicate active payments, but rather outdated record keeping within the SSA system. So they're using a COBOL based system, which I guess that's a data management system. Those have limitations in handling missing death records. So, in many cases, if a date of death was never recorded, the system defaults to an incorrect reference date, making it appear as though an individual is still alive and over a century old. So, those folks could be anyone on that list, basically.
Over the course of fucking what, like 70 years?
Yeah. I mean, it could be anyone. I don't know what it defaults to, and if the date defaults to something different over time. I don't know. I don't know data management, but I know it's not as simple as what he's pointing out because he doesn't know what he's doing. Just have to put it that way. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm just trying to fucking figure it all out, man.
I want to say that I just think it would be better off if we let the agencies hire experts. They don't even have to be in the agency to do it, but just hire experts in this shit to audit these organizations. Or, you know what? We already have the folks hired. They're called inspector generals. They could just use the inspectors general to audit the organization as they're supposed to and tell us where the waste, fraud, and abuse is. Because they understand how the systems work, they know what the purpose of different programs are. They'll have
I
context
agree.
of the organization, and it's not this shit show where folks are like, "Oh, we saved 8 billion." Oh, nope, it's 8 million, and it's just like we're cutting things that you don't know why they're there and why they exist. It's stupid. And it's making Donald Trump look stupid, and I'm being very honest on that. Um, I had a little
I
bit of hope
agree.
he wouldn't be as stupid, because as a businessman, I would not let someone without expertise come in and cut shit up in my business because you don't know what you're doing. So I will hire experts who know what they're
Hmm.
doing because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Like, and that's the beauty of being president. You don't have to be a master at everything. That's why you have 2 million masters at everything to do the work for you. You just have to be able to delegate, and he's terrible at doing that, as you can see. I just think that it's going to be a terrible idea for him in the long run. It's a terrible idea right now to have Elon Musk doing this shit. But he'll learn sooner or later, hopefully later, because that benefits Democrats. Um, so, it is what it is.
Yeah, it just seems weird. I
I
don't
will
know.
say this: if they cut Social Security, they are in for a rude awakening come 2026. The Republican Party might as well call it quits for the next 10 years. It's gonna be bad if they get rid of Social Security, and Medicare and Medicaid and SNAP benefits, which is on the chopping block for this new budget. So, yeah, good luck to them.
Well, I agree. Like, it's not going to end well. Like, at all. Like, the American people are not going to take that.
And just one last thing, and I'll finally shut up because I've been talking a lot. Um, the new budget that they're putting forth, um, they want to tell you that SNAP benefits and Medicaid and Medicare are not on the chopping block, and that's a lie. They've just set it up where they can lie to you about that. Um,
The what? Say
they
that one more time. I'm sorry. I got a
Medicaid and
text.
Medicare, and SNAP benefits, so food stamps. They are telling folks they're not on the chopping block. They're not in this new budget. They're not going to be touched. That's a lie. They basically put forward a blueprint of their budget. So what they voted on, like last week or whatever, for the budget, that was basically saying to the different committees, like the Committee on Agriculture, which a lot of people don't know, the USDA administers food stamps. Um, they told the Committee on Agriculture, who oversees the USDA, to cut, like, I don't know, just some arbitrary number, $800 billion from your line items. Well, you can't cut $800 billion from your line items without touching SNAP benefits. So in turn, you're telling them to get rid of it without
Shall I
telling
turn
them
in
to
my
get rid
badge
of
and
it.
rifle as
Same
well?
thing for the Committee on Energy and Natural Resources, that we want to cut $850 billion. We're directing them to cut $850 billion from their committee line items. That include, well, you can't cut $850 billion from everything that you oversee without touching Medicare and Medicaid. So they're telling you a lie without telling you a lie. So it's gonna happen. That's gonna happen. So they can't make $4.5 trillion room for $4.5 trillion in the budget for tax cuts without removing some of the most important benefits that people have. So it is what it is. That's what they're doing. I would love to see it, and I hate for the effects for the American people, but it's good politically if they do that.
Yeah. I'm just like I've been saying, this is all fucking, it's just all weird, man. Like every bit of it. Like each action is like just, it's so targeted, it feels like. And like it just doesn't seem like normal.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, it's Definitely targeted, I agree.
Worry about telling them to buy, covering stuff up.
Hide common chatbots. Yes, please.
Most people just see too much of a risk. Also, we're conditioned culturally to participate in the
Oh, I could have been doing it the whole fucking time. So when people come in and fucking
Shall I
type
turn in my
something,
badge and rifle
can you
as
type
well?
something in the chat?
Yeah. I got.
Oh my goodness. Look at that. Now I have a notification.
Fortune doesn't favor fools.
You still playing Red Dead?
They were shooting too much.
One sec, I gotta turn you up. For some reason, League of Legends is just like fucking loud as shit. Say it again?
No, I said I got out of there. They were shooting too much in there. I went to the main city in there, and they were trying to rob people. And
You're just a hunter. You're like, I'm just trying to hunt, man. I got like
No,
70.
I'm trying to keep it on the straight and narrow. You know, I already got banned from one other server because I accidentally robbed somebody without any interaction. But well, okay, it wasn't an accident. I found out they were a player, and I actually just took the money. 'Cause I'm like, fuck it. I mean, he's dead now. I mean, I did my damage. I already fucked up, so just take the money.
Amen, brother.
So yeah, I played throughout the rest of the night and went back in the next day, and I was banned. Which I didn't know. When they ban you, it doesn't automatically kick you out of the server. So something to know, I guess.
What?
No, I was still playing in that bitch until like 12 o'clock at night. And I went back in the next day, and it was like, you were banned at 7 p.m. the day before. And I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't even fucking know. I was in there hunting, living my life, made $600 off that guy, which is good money in 1897. That's good money. So,
Lol.
but yeah, no, I like the other server I'm in. I make money quicker. I made $700 off of hunting a few alligators, so it's all right. I make that to feed my family.
Lol. That's definitely goals. Do you have a family in there too?
No, I'm just bullshitting you. It's just me.
You're like, I'm just a lonely cowboy.
No, I just go hunting because it's peaceful. Like, I'm not into like all that RP there in that game where I don't do a good country accent, so I don't want to do it. So like I'm just like, I'll just go hunt on my own.
Well, you could
Take
try to
my
do the
horse
other
and
one.
go hunt.
Yep.
Oh no. I can't do any accents, man. What other accent?
Dude, my stream, it cannot be doing like... There's no way that the stream takes that much off of my computer. That I can't...